into switching and routing. So I just thought firewall would do more for career upgradation. So
Yes, yes, yes. You thought very right. It will be. Rahul was there in the previous session. Sandeep. Sandeep, this is your first session. Okay. No response, no problem. All right. So people who were already there in the previous session, again, welcome back. And new all the audience, again, very, very welcome to all of you. So my name is Shagun, and I do handle all Palo Alto trainings in networkings. Not all, I mean most of the batches. I do deal with these Palo Alto training, and myself, I have been working in Palo Alto like these live cases on the platinum support since last couple of years now. So this training, whatever we are planning, so we already planned everything. Like people, we have it's like our experience. People who join any Palo Alto firewall or any other vendor's firewall. So we've been noticing like there are sometimes people basically they come from the different background. So it's okay. In fact, Palo Alto firewall, it can be for your very first certification of the whole life. It's okay. So first of all, you have to be a bit relaxed over here. There is no prerequisite absolutely required for this course to be continued for you, even if you are absolutely beginner. So still nothing to worry. And now, what you will be expecting from this course and what I will be teaching you, I have already shared this one in the previous session. One more time, I'll be also giving you some sort of glimpse over the idea. So now when we talk about firewall, let me just share my screen for a while. And meanwhile, yeah, so what I'm trying to say is whenever we say a firewall, so firewall, it's not always like a full-fledged hardware system or full-fledged any kind of software system. So it is like just a methodology how you secure your system. So idea is why you have to secure your system because most of the computer networks traffic nowadays, they are still relying on the very old protocols that were there in the market since last more than I believe 30 years. So for example, we have TCP IP suite right now in practical, it is working at the moment. So anyone knows when TCP IP came into picture? What was the first year when TCP IP came into execution? Okay, so I hope my screen is visible to all of you. So I'm just saying hello here. Visible?
Yes,
Okay. All right. So basically, when we talk about a firewall or when we talk about your cybersecurity, it is like a common umbrella. So where all those sub fields will come into picture. So for example, let's say we are just going to be, it is a kind of a motivation session for all of you, I would say, so that you can think about from the real practical perspective, like, okay, why do we are here all and all. So let's say when you talk about anything, when we all are now connected through Zoom. So this platform, how we all are sharing the information. First of all, whenever there are computer networks, two entities are talking to each other, there are number one, someone is called source, another one are your receivers. So depending upon the number of receivers, you have categories. If there is one receiver, you call it a normal client and server side execution, or you can say destination normal. If there is a very big audience but only few of them are attending it, so we call it multicasting. If all are your audience, we call it broadcasting, right? So it is like we are putting some sort of common sense in your the way we are talking with each other. So whenever there is an information being shared between two entities, let it be it is one, your receiver is one, or multiple users among a very big group, or maybe all of them, they are part of from the all group. So we have certain kind of characteristics over here. For example, if you want to reach this guy, I don't know where is this guy. So how we will be reaching them? What will be the main criteria to find somebody over internet? That is your IP address, right? So we do have IP addressing. So IP addressing plays very, very important role because this is your first and foremost requirement. If you want to talk to somebody, you need to have the IP address for that. What about the traffic? For example, let's say HTTPS www, then I say google.com. What do you mean by this? What kind of traffic it is? In this case, I did never mention your IP. So how the process will be started? So we will start from, because your computer system, it is a computational device, number one. Everything will be turning into numbers. This guy will be turning into 443. We know this. Why it is 443? Why it is 443? Yeah, hurry up. You all will be very, very interactive in this one.
HTTPS.
Yeah, because
It's well
this,
defined.
yep, this is a port number which is associated with the HTTP as the layer 7 service, right? So we are,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, because see, if we do have people who are in India, so in India we have transport system, right? So we have lightweight vehicle, we have a heavyweight vehicle and all. So
Yes.
similarly in computer network, we do have different kind of conversation that at a time we can do with each other. Right now we all are on Zoom. This is a live streaming going on. Definitely there is a concept behind how this live streaming will be processed. It's not like a random guy will come join and okay, your computer system will be on the go deciding what to do. No, everything has been pre-planned since last many years, and these are the same. So my discussion was started from the same point. The problem today in the internet architecture is because we are using the very old protocols which are so ever in the market since last more than, I would say, half century. So this is a problem. So here, whenever the people who designed internet, they did not think about, okay, one day this internet will be having trillions or billions of users. Now it has been expected by 2025, every person, there will be at least, it will be having 20 gadgets, right? Most of them, most of us, we are already having 20 gadgets per person. So the IP addressing can actually exceed trillions also when the internet came into picture. So the first project was from US Army. It was called ARPANET. Anyone
Hello,
knows
mate.
what is
Yeah,
ARPANET?
can you check the cable, please? Whole cluster is showing down. Maybe cable is something. Whole cluster is showing down. Can you check? Hello?
What it is showing, sorry?
Hello, mate. Can you check the cable? Yeah, hello, check. Can you check the cable, please?
Which cable? Am I audible to all?
Yes,
Sorry,
ma'am,
ma'am.
you're
Sorry for the
audible.
disturbance.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Dilip, I think it's your cable, dear. Check it out. All right, okay. So this ARPANET was the first project when people thought, okay, we have to talk with each other. We have to share some information through each other, through certain kind of connections. So this was advanced research project related to your army. Why they have came up with the idea? Because the idea was very, vague. For example, during the war or during any important project, so the leader was not able to convey the messages due to too much noise, disruptions and all. So they said, okay, when during the war, whatever the stuff is, whatever I want to ask them, so they should follow my rules, or that all the people should be on the same page. So in order to implement this, they converted a very small system. It was covering up to some extent distance, for example 10 meters distance, 9-meter distance. This was a distance coverage according to that time. And so they applied certain kind of rules for the data communication or for the data transmission, how the data will be traveled from one person to another. And in that time, it's not voice data, everything was a textual data. So in that time, people did never realize one day the very small project will be turned into internet nowadays. So the project, they came up with the idea on DoD, that was Department of Defense. So till date, we are using the same concept. So that is the main fundamental reason why do we have certain kind of cybersecurity risk. When you talk about cybersecurity, in TCP/IP model, so we have a TCP/IP suite. What is this TCP/IP suite, by the way? This TCP/IP suite, this is called your network operating system of your all the devices. Let it be your mobile phone, let it be your tablet, let it be your PC, anything that you are using. So this TCP/IP suite, it is your operating system. Most of you are working, you already know we have networking devices, for example, router, switch. They all are your networking devices. How they work? Because you configure them. So there is a running configuration working behind the whole concept. Similarly, what is this running configuration? Who is supporting that? Why it is taking your instructions and why it is implementing as per your instructions? Because of the network operating system. Similarly, this computer system, when earlier days, when they designed, they did not cover the networking part into it. So they just came up with the idea how the information will be flowing from one end to another end. So network operating system, so they designed a separate machine for that. It was called as Novel Netware. So Novel Netware was the first network operating system that came into market. So nowadays, for example, if I'm using operating system as Microsoft Windows, so I do have this TCP/IP suite already there. Where do I see practically TCP/IP suite? Whenever you configure your IP addressing, you always go to the TCP/IP properties through your LAN information and LAN properties, right? So this is your network operating system. So idea is now these protocols, these are the same protocols. How many protocols are there on the TCP/IP suite? We have TCP, we have UDP, main protocols I'm talking about now. You have IP and ICMP. These are the building block for your TCP/IP suite. All of them till date never got any improvements by the nature. Whatever they have designed, still till date they are being used as it is. And there are millions and billions of vulnerability over your TCP also. You have much more gaps in IP also, and so as in your ICMP also. In ICMP, there are so many attacks that are possible. Man in the middle is possible. So I can ping somebody by giving any one of yours source IP. So you will be starting replying, having those reply from the end device. And it will be like boggle your mind. Why the hell I'm getting this reply? I never did ping to this one. So this is the result. We are till date trying to solve the problems which were actually associated a few years back with these previous protocols. So nowadays, because of this machine learning AI, all the attacks are also getting powered by AI, concept and strategies. So we need certain very, very strong devices who can basically detect what kind of information you need and what kind of packet filterizations you need. So now these are the separate, this is very abstract level discussion. Now my idea is, when you forget about anything else, forget about cybersecurity at the moment, anyone can tell me, when you type this thing, https www.google.com, what is the first step you can expect? Because your computer system, it is a computational device, it would understand everything in the language of numbers only. In fact, in binary number system, it would understand. So what is the very first step when you generate any kind of traffic? So traffic means you do have, first the story was begin from the OSI model. OSI has many layers. How many total layers we do have in OSI?
7.
We do,
7.
yes, we do have 7 layers. Okay, so these 7 layers, they just designed, but they practically implemented in TCP/IP model. So OSI model, it is not practically being in use. Practically is your TCP/IP, but again, because of the OSI, you do have TCP/IP. So that is a practical version of OSI, basically. So these 7 layers, they have 7 departments. Okay. So for example, I can say there are 7 layers. First, can I say, let's say if I start with from here, can I say application is my first layer? Application.
Yes.
Okay. And why it is your first layer?
Because the user starts with it.
Okay. So yeah, it's partially you are very correct. We start with application. If I want to open any website, web page, I have to start with the tool. I need to have a tool for that. That tool is your any internet browser, for example, Google Chrome. This is your tool. And the whole concept is now you have to correlate it with your application layer. Application layer is responsible for identifying, first of all, what is the tool you are using, what type of information you are looking forward with interacting with the internet. So for example, if I have to write down right now what is going on my application layer, so it is, what is the tool we are using? We are using Zoom. And then the technicalities will come into picture, how Zoom is working, how Zoom is interacting with your underneath layers. So number one, I just want to correct you. It will never be called as your layer 1. This is fixed. Application layer is always and always for next million years also. It will be called as your layer 7 only. So layer 7, it is your application layer. What about 6th layer?
Presentation.
Presentation.
It is your presentation layer. Okay. So presentation layer means if you want to open google.com, that means you have to talk to a server. So this application layer, it will detect, number one, the tool, whatever you want to use. Second is what kind of traffic you want to generate. For example, I can ping also, right? That's my choice, what I want to do with internet. I can go to my CMD, I can just ping the Google's DNS also. This is also one of the internet kind of traffic. Or maybe I can just check my email also. So maybe it can be your SMTP traffic. Or maybe I'm just trying to resolve any IP, so it can be a DNS traffic. So anything can be possible, right? There are different kind of traffics. So your application layer, basically it is responsible for identifying these things. What kind of traffic you are trying to generate and what is the tool that you are using for that. This is application layer. Then let's say somebody is trying to use Google Chrome and your traffic is depending upon this thing. This is your layer 7 service. For example, you have other layers or other services also. You have, let's say, FTP. What is the function of FTP? Anyone knows? Why do we need FTP?
Basically, to transfer files between one system to another system.
Yes, we definitely, this is called your file transfer protocol. But we can transfer file also from normal Google also. If I go to Google, I need, let's say, PPT for Palo Alto. I can write, search me a PPT for Palo Alto dot.
I'm sorry to interrupt, ma'am. For large files,
For large files, okay. Large files means, for example, I can go up to gigabits in normal Google also, no problem. Then what is the need of FTP? Why this special service is there?
Maybe it is a
it may be secure.
connection oriented,
Yep.
reliable.
And secure.
But our normal Google is also, see, this is the nice debate going on. I want this one. So normal Google, if you will go for HTTP is also, it is supported by your TCP protocol. TCP, it is the delivery guy for your HTTP service. So TCP is also connection oriented. Why do we need to have FTP? So idea over FTP is whenever you configure your routers, switches, firewalls, anything, all the configuration, it is like from the day one perspective, you think one day in case of any disaster, so you are prepared for that disaster recovery. You save your configuration files over some sort of specialized server. And here it's not just a configuration files, you do have your licensing files over also there on the FTP servers. So depending upon the on your device, you do have FTP servers, so that one day if your device is totally shut, how you will be bringing it into life back. So that is the reason why you have FTP servers, and every device has their own FTP routes. So it's not like if I have FTP server, anyone can be coming and picking the configuration files. No, it depends upon device to device. They have a clustering. Depending upon the cluster, then only you will have your own FTP. It's not random FTP, not, no. Second thing is, depending upon the layer 7 services, every service is dedicated, delivered to you by a particular server. That is the connection between a service and a server. Okay, so if you have, let's for example, we take one very normal example. If I have a service of HTTP service, why do I need it? It's called port 80 service. Port 80 service, it is needed for any kind of web traffic. Similarly, you have HTTPS, it is 443. This is also for web traffic. Only problem is this is clear text, and this guy is encrypted. So this is the only thing that they differ from each other. And practically how you will see them, so it is like, first, now if I have to tell you what is a website, first of all, website, it is like a small web pages that you will be having. How you create a website, you definitely use a certain kind of web language. So in normal majority, all the websites are written in .html. Now most of the platforms, they have already been transferred to Python, but yes, this is a truth. Every other website, it is written into .html. So now, because it is a different concept of delivering these things over the internet, so HTML pages can be shared between this server. Server means every kind of application layer service. It is dedicated to a particular server. Server means now there are two types, that two angles that you can see it. Server means DNS is also a service. That's why we do have DNS servers. Similarly, SMTP is a service. That is why you have mail servers. But depending upon the vendor, I can have a mail from Yahoo, Gmail, anything. So vendors will be differ, but the way mail will be processed, it is a single concept. So that is called SMTP. There is no mail in the world that, even depending upon, if let's say if I have Gmail and somebody, any one of you, maybe I'm going to send you on Yahoo. So there is no different concept, just a change of the vendor. But the concept behind how the mail would be working, it is SMTP. So you have SMTP, but we cannot say SMTP servers. We have mail exchange servers. That is the reason we do have this service. So service is something, and you have somebody who is delivering that service to you, that is called a server. Similarly, what about DHCP? You do not have any IP on you, and you need to have the DHCP, the configuration, and then so that you can have IP for the further internet connection. So this is also a kind of service that is provided to you with the help of your application layer. So that is the reason we said I have one DHCP server. So this is the clear combination of service and server. So now this is what I was talking about. We have different purposes over internet. Maybe you're trying to send any email, maybe you're receiving any email, you are typing any HTTPS protocol over their service, you're using it. So these all things are where it is written, it is mentioned under your TCP IP protocol, and everything at end of the day, before it is sent from client to server, every single thing is going to turn into a number. Usually it is a binary number. So that is the reason every single thing, if you will notice, application layer, all the services, we do have port numbers. Okay, so even we do have a protocol numbers also. What is the difference between port number and protocol number? If it is layer 7, okay, layer 7 means if you are talking about a particular service, you have port numbers. But if you are talking about any other layer, let's say I'm talking about ICMP, Can I say ICMP? What is the port number for ICMP? Can anyone tell me?
ICMP doesn't have port number.
Exactly. We do not have port number for ICMP, but
It is a
ICMP has a protocol number. It is number
number.
1. So similarly, TCP. Do we have any port number for TCP? No.
No.
Port numbers are only and only reserved for the layer 7 purpose. We do have a protocol number. TCP's protocol number is 6.
Yes.
What about UDP? What about UDP?
53,
17.
17. Okay.
53, it is a port number. Port number for what? 53 is a port number for which service? DNS.
DNS. Correct.
Okay. So we
Okay.
do have these port numbers. So you need to, whenever you are trying to, so the layer 7, what will be the responsibility of layer 7? Layer 7 will identify if you're trying to send any email. So it will identify the port. What will be the port for this one? 25, right?
27.
25 for SMTP. And what about your telnet if you want to take the remote access for somebody?
Telnet 23.
23. So this is the duty of application layer. Bring a number from one of the port numbers. This is the duty of your application layer. And presentation layer will be responsible. Whatever the .xml files are actually being asked, it is exactly delivered to you in the same manner, just to take the legacy. So this is what your .html means. If you are, let's say just one example. Let's say I'm sending hi to one of you on WhatsApp, but you are receiving hi on your Facebook Messenger. This is completely not, understandable. So whatever the format, whatever the functionality, whatever the extension you are accessing, you should be having as the resulting pattern exactly as the same. So that is the duty of your presentation layer. Any other example we can think, like you are trying to download .pdf file, and when you check your download folder, there is .mp3. So this is also not acceptable. So idea is whatever client is requesting, server is also delivering the same thing. It is not something that you asked for something else, now you got something else. So this is the duty of your presentation layer. It has to check whether there is a synchronicity between the requested and whatever it is there being delivered to you. So that is the duty of your presentation layer. Next comes your session layer. Session layer will be, do you need a dedicated connection between you and your server and receiver? Do you have to have a thread like this until and unless you're not done with the data transmission? If you want to send any mail, do you need a dedicated, you want to consume the resources back to back for your mail exchange? No, right? We don't need to have a dedicated connection because it's not a two-way communication, first of all. Whenever there is a two-way communication, then only you can think of, yes, two people are basically sharing a certain kind of media so that they can keep track of each other, whatever they are saying. It is a request and reply stuff. Whenever you have request and reply stuff is going on, you need to have a dedicated connection. Dedicated means, for example, I just pick my mobile phone and I call one of you. So that means until and unless I'm not done with my call, I cannot cut it. So that is just like this connection is just like an active call right now. So you need to have a session ID created so that it will open one socket from here, from your TCP IP module over your client machine, and one socket will be open from your server machine. So these two sockets will be talking to each other virtually with the help of these 7 layers of OSI. And that is how we say this is a connection establishment state. And these socket opening, so this is the dedicated problem with your that any time TCP has to serve it. So that all the layer 7 services, they will not go directly jump from client to server, never ever. So whenever you will be deciding, yes, you need to have a session dedicated, that will be decided by your session layer, then only TCP will come into picture. So because the next layer is your layer 4 only. Layer 4 means transport layer. transport layer, you do have 2 dedicated people working over there. What are the parts of transport layer? Who are the protocols that we do have on transport layer? Layer 4. What are the characteristics? We do have transport layer over here.
TCP and UDP.
TCP and UDP.
TCP, UDP are the famous one, right? We all know with different.
Yes.
So now what is the duty of TCP and UDP practically is, now you know so far, I need to have HTTPS service, which is a port number 443. And I have my source IP is also there. My destination IP is also there. Destination port is 443. Source port can be any random port. Let's say it's 50,000 ports. So now when you need a session ID also for that. This information would be received from the top layer to layer 4. Now layer 4's responsibility is, depending upon the service, now you have service as port number 443. Depending upon the service, it will pick one of these guys. So now most of the services, they are dedicated to TCP only. Let it be your HTTP, HTTPS, Telnet, anything. So these are mostly are dedicated to your TCP. UDP has different roles. Basically, I will tell you one twist in UDP also, but most of the services, they are dedicated to TCP. Now, when TCP is decided, okay, fine, it is like somebody is saying, come here, TCP, your job is now to make sure this service will be delivered between this client and this particular IP. So the TCP will be having certain kind of source and destination information with each other, and so that they can prepare like how the connection will be processed further. So right now, because the TCP is the selected item over here, so TCP will be linked here. Now what TCP will be doing? TCP will be first of all opening one socket program over here from your client side, and it will process the data, not for like actual google.com. First of all, it will go to your destination and it will send one handshake signal. It is called SYN segment. So TCP does work on your segments, right? We know this. So segment means now it is just asking. For example, let's say I'm not feeling well. I have to call somebody from the medical stuff, right? Maybe I'm calling one of the clinic. Their receptionist is picking my call. She's asking, yes, how may I help you? Then I'm saying, I need to visit a doctor because I'm having viral fever, right? So this is what my say is. So TCP SYN segment is exactly like this. So first of all, you are asking for the availability of your server. You are checking whether this server is available to provide the service to you or not. So it will send one SYN segment from client to the server side. And this SYN segment is not happening blindly anywhere. So it is happening at port number 443. So that means it is very particular about the service, what exactly the service you need. So now, because let's say if this is a Google server, okay, most of the web server, they support port 80 also, port number 443 also. So it depends which one you need. If you will be just sending HTTP, blah, 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 something, then it will send the SYN segment to this port number. If you are sending HTTPS, then the SYN segment would be received at this place. So that is the main concept here. So TCP, first of all, it will check whether the server is listening on this port number or not. So it will be checking by your SYN segment. If server is replying you back with SYN plus ACK, SYN means it is saying, yes, I am available and I heard you. Heard you means I actually received your SYN. Whatever you want to say, yes, I will listen you. So now this is a SYN plus ACK, means server said yes to you. Now you are saying, okay, thank you very much. So that is a final acknowledgement that you are sending back to the server. So this is called ACK. So we call it TCP handshake, or we call it the connection establishment states, so that the client can be assured, yes, I will be talking to this server in future. Okay. So now this is called TCP three-way handshake. That is the reason before you start the actual service, here you never said, I want to open cisco.com. Obviously, Cisco server will give you the homepage only as the first page. So that is not a duty of TCP. TCP's duty is now there is a connection, call is active. Now it will say HTTP, you come here and you start talking whatever you want now, because TCP has no idea how to exchange this web pages. So now this HTTP as a protocol, HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. This protocol, this is the expert in exchanging of those .html pages. TCP has zero knowledge about how to do these .html pages. So HTTP protocol will come and it will bring this cisco.com's conversation now. It is like now you are sitting with your real doctor and you are talking about, yes, he's asking, okay, fine, since how many days you are having this fever, what are the symptoms and all. Now you are talking, right? So this is a real story. This is now it is begin. Now you have to send HTTP methods. We do have total 39 methods of HTTP, how HTTP does work. Till date, we are only just working with 9 out of them. And the first method that we used whenever we want to fetch any web page, it is called HTTP get request. So get means give me the home page. So now server will find it and server will send you the home page on your screen. So that is the reason you are able to see Cisco welcome to blah, 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 or google.com. So this is how the things will be working. Now, first, when there is mathematically, if I have to say HTTP, now I'm talking about the service, port number 80. First of all, you will have TCP. And then you will start your HTTP methods. Okay. And what do we mean by HTTPS? HTTPS means first you will be having TCP, obviously, and there will be HTTP methods also. Same process will be done, but now the difference will be this information is not going to say, okay, fine, this is cisco.com, blah, blah, blah. No, now there will be some sort of method. It is like, you know, it is like some magical wire. Whenever it is you are touching it, your fingers are going to be changed. Your appearance is going to be changed. It is like, you know, in our childhood, we used to have certain kind of stories. There is a very magic water. People are going into it and they are turning their overall, you know, personality. So this is that kind of stuff. So HTTPS means TCP will be done in the first place. And after that, you will be hitting a one tunnel. Sort of tunnel means there is a concept only. There is no such tunnel existing on the internet. So this is called SSL handshake. After you are done with SSL, now you are talking to your HTTP methods. Okay, now you come and play. So this is the difference between port number 80 and port number 443. So now this is just a normal computer science discussion. So what will be your Palo Alto stuff? Palo Alto will be now, because you are having too much which is flowing through your wires. This is just 1% of what we normally filter during your Palo Alto firewalls or any other vendors. So the idea is now you can have any vulnerability, you can have any attacks based upon this kind of concepts. So firewalls are the system. They can always check, they can monitor whatever is being shared between two entities. Is it legitimate to allow them to talk or not? This is the only concept. This is just an overall idea about a firewall. How you achieve this yes or no decision, we call it through your policies. Policy means certain kind of rules. We apply certain kind of rules. These are called policies. Now, policy can be anything. Policy can be, you can make a policy on user base. For example, I can say there are 3 users. I don't want to allow them to go to web service. That means port number 443 is blocked for them. So you can have user-based profiles. You can based user-based policies also. Another thing, IP-based or network-based. or service based, that means port numbers based. Anything is possible. So this is the way. On firewalls, you have much more flexibility how the data would be actually filtered. Which data you will say, yes, I want to allow it. Which data you want to say, I want to block it. So this is what you will be, first of all, figuring it out, what you really want to block, what you really want to allow. These decisions vary from organization to organization. So these you have to understand the topology. First of all, everyone, I would say, whenever you are in the cybersec area, always understand your topology first. If you understand those interfaces, how they are connecting, your 50% job is done. You understood the stuff. If you don't understand which, for example, forget about firewall. If I'm talking about, this is my router. Okay, I have two interfaces here. Here my 10th network is going on. Here my 20th network going on. Okay, let me just give you one idea. I am drawing one topology over here. This is one router. This is another router. This is another router. Now they are connecting with each other. What is the cable that we want to use between two these routers? We use crossover. Okay, just excuse my drawing. It's not a very good, but it's all right. So I have one LAN here. Let's say I have one LAN and two end LANs. What is the cable I want to draw here? That is your straight through cable. Okay. So now look at the connections. How many networks? My question to all of you now. I want all of you to be equally interactive. How many networks you want, you think there should be? How many?
4.
Okay, let me, this is my router number 1, router number 2, router number 3. Yes,
Must
this
have
is
6
my
networks.
network number 1.
6
3
networks.
networks.
What about this one? These two
Second.
routers, can they use the same network here?
No.
No,
No.
different networks.
No.
Very good. What about this network? If
Another
this
network.
is not possible, this is also not possible. So
Not
you
possible.
have to go for network 3. And what about this one? So as the
This one is
logic
on
apply here, network number 4.
4.
If this is 10's network, this can be 20, 30, 40. You need 4 network. Okay. Now let's say this is my 10's network. This is my 20's network. This is my 30's network. This is my 40's network. If I want to, let's say there is a PC. His IP is 10.0010. This IP is 10.001. This is 20.001, 20.002, 30.001, 30.002, 40.001, 40.00, blah, blah, anything. So I want, there is no routing being done, no dynamic routing, no default routing, no static routing, no nothing. It's just a clean configuration of IPs only. From this PC, any PC from this LAN, from 10's network, can I ping here?
Yes.
Yes.
Without routing?
Yes. Yes. Because it's same network.
Because they are same network. Okay, fine. From this LAN, this is my LAN 1, this is my LAN 2. From this LAN, can I ping this PC, this IP also 20.001?
Yes,
Yes, possible.
Why?
because it is directly connected.
Yes. Yes, wonderful. Really, really good. Okay.
No, you cannot ping. It's not. We need routing there, right?
No, there is no need to routing.
In
It's
this
already
case,
done.
yes, in this case, we don't need any routing because see, you are connecting to one end of the same router. So in this router, if you will be looking forward the routing table, what it will show you? It will show my local connections are 10. L means local connections, links. So that will be 10.0.0.1 and other one will be
Connected.
20.0.0.1 and connected networks are 10's network and your 20's network.
Continue.
So that means any conversation that will be between 10 and 20, given that it is your local linked network, it will be pinging. So you can ping from anything from here to this guy also, this guy. What about 20.0.0.1?
Shagun ma'am, sorry to interrupt. While we are pinging from L1 to R1 second interface, we would need a default gateway on L1, right?
Yes, we do need for sure.
Yeah, so that itself is part of routing, right?
No, Right now, routing won't be here. Even, okay, what in case people who don't get his question, he's saying if any guy from here, 10.0.0.10 was the source, and let's say I forget, I think it is amazing thing. Let me just go to my Cisco packet tracer. I show you the real thing over here. Wait a minute. So there will be so many, funny things will come out of your Cisco packet tracer now.
Yes.
Unfortunately, this guy is keep on asking me my login that I forgot. I'm just trying. If it is done between 1 or 2 minutes, it's okay. We will see. Otherwise, we have to keep trying on that diagram only. Okay, better we stay with the same one because it's taking a lot of time and my login is somehow it's not happening. It's okay. We can continue from here only. Okay, so the idea is here. See, I have router number 1, router number 2, router number 3. From this PC, I just want to ping. I know this is my gateway. This will be pinging. So if you do not give your gateway, this is 10.010's network, 10.0010, 10.001. Will you be able to still ping or not?
Yes.
Yes, able to ping.
Yes, because it is still now. Why? Because your layer 2 will take the precedence. Okay, layer 3, there is no concept. In fact, if you will say if there will be a switch also, and there is one more PC, you can say my IP is 10.0011, and you give any stupid subnet mask over here /16, let's say, which is awkward one. It will still ping. That was the reason why I wanted to go to Cisco packet tracer. My packet tracer is troubling me. Otherwise, this was I wanted to showcase here. So whenever you have a switch, it will always take the precedence over layer 3. Now, this is okay. Still, like, okay, if you will give gateway, you always ping here. Let's say you did not give any gateway at all. You do not have gateways configured on these devices. Now, Rahul was saying you will not be able to ping this guy 20.0.0.1. So he's absolutely right. Whenever you have to jump from one network to another network, because your binary AND operation will be asking you, I do not know how to reach this destination. Let's hand over the traffic to your gateway. So there is a need for gateway. Otherwise, it won't ping. He's very correct. So now, yes, you need to have a gateway over here. Now, my question to you, can I give my gateway as 20.001 here? Will it work?
Sorry, you're giving 20.001 gateway on the R1's left.
Not
left
R1. Here on this network, can I give all the LAN users IP as 10.001234555, whatever? But my gateway, I want to give 20.001 instead of 10.001. Normally, the
No.
gateway will be this. Can I give this one?
It
No.
won't work.
No.
It
Should be
won't.
in the
No.
same.
Okay. I will make sure your next, whatever the class will be, I'll make my packet tracer up. So this is going to be a very good discussion. Okay, it will work, by the way. And the reason is just again, stupid things. So you will see how the packet simulation is going on. You need a gateway and you can give any gateway. So it will work. 20.001 will still work. So idea is only from this LAN, you can only ping this network, which is your own gateway in case you have configured, and this interface if in case you have configured gateway over these PCs. If you did not give any gateway over here, even this IP will also not be pinging. And forget about anything about 20.002 onwards, you will not be able to ping. Same logic will apply on this LAN also. From this LAN, you will be able to pinging this guy also and this interface also, but beyond this, no. So that is the concept. So here will be the need of routing. Why you need to have routing and all. So that is just a fundamental level concept. So now on firewalls, we do have so much power that a Palo Alto firewall basically, if you have very small firewall, we have PA200 series firewall, hardware firewall. We have different kind of firewalls, hardware firewalls, software firewalls. We do have multiple other VM based firewalls also. PA200 series firewall, it is a hardware based firewall where we do have 4 interfaces. Let's say Ethernet 1 by 1. This is the phenomena. This is the way how their interfaces are actually named. It is called Ethernet 1 by 1, 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 1 by 4. We do have 4 RJ45 connections where the real devices will be plugged in. Like just like your server, here you can have server, you can configure here switch, you can form one LAN, you can have one another LAN here. Here you can connect your ISP. So this is what we call real traffic is. So every Palo Alto firewall, they have the capacity. You can see one interface can work like a router, another interface you can make it work like a switch. So that means you can configure it as layer 3. Here you can configure it layer 2. These are the types of interfaces of the firewall. Okay, this is one thing. Another aspect is every Palo Alto firewall, they are basically logically divided into 2 parts. So this division you can think like this, or people who think out of the box, they can think like this. Anyway, it's all up to you. So we do have 2 partition on your firewall. We call it, one will be your data plane. Another one is called your management plane. So data plane is whatever the 4 connection I was telling you on PA200 series firewall is. If this is my PA200 series firewall, so name is very important. If any firewall, it is named as PA200, that means this is a hardware based firewall. If any firewall is named as PA, then VM, and then 100, so that means it is a VM based firewall. So there is a difference. Naming would say, it would say everything all. So now if it is a PA200 series firewall, how many RJ45 connections, how many data plane interfaces we do have? 4, we know it. 1 by 1, 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 1 by 4. So this is your real data plane. Then what is the functionality of your management plane? Management plane is responsible for your user access. What is this user access? Now, user access means, I told you, every device will work according to your configuration. What you will configure, they will exactly behave in the same way. Now, this configuration should be done in such a way so that you have the control of the firewall. You can control which policy you want to create, delete, add it, which user you want to enable here, who can actually log in into firewall or whatever they want to do. So everything, it is called user access. Without accessing the firewall, without logging into the firewall, can you create those security policies? Can you create these IP addresses? Not at all, right? Forget about the real traffic. First of all, you have to log in into your firewall as admin account. So that login will happen on your management plane. Other than that, management plane has other responsibilities. For example, PAN-OS upgradation, downgradation. PAN-OS means your Palo Alto Networks operating system. So that is operating system of your firewall. So we have Linux flavor, by the way. Most of the security appliances, they are based on your Linux flavor. So we do have, first of all, Linux is the main concept, your operating system. From Linux, you do have CentOS. From CentOS, you do have PAN-OS. So we do have basically the 3 layers of Linux. Now, please do not get confused, like, do I have to have Linux also? No, not required at all. So these are just a set of commands that you will be working on, and you will be working at just like a normal beginner point of view. This is not required at all. And there is no Linux file system that you will be using the concept. So there is no prerequisites on Linux also. So this management plane, It is responsible for PAN-OS upgradation, downgradation process, licensing, your logging, reporting, user access, all this dedicated to your management plane only. Whatever the real traffic is going on, HTTPS traffic, telnet traffic, IPsec tunnels, any kind of tunnels that is going on through the firewall, so that will be happening on your data plane. In fact, whenever you will be switching on your firewall, first of all, the booting will start from your management plane. If management plane booting is done successfully, then the control will be shifted to data plane. In case management plane fails through the booting process, we generally call it, there is a terminology, we call it your firewall is crashed, okay? Because your management plane refused to work. So basically, what do we mean by refusing to work? In Linux environment, we do have what do I say? In Windows, we do have services, programs, right? Executional programs. Similarly, in Linux, we do have something called daemons. These are the small software processes which are dedicated to particular thing. For example, we do have a daemon. It is called route D. D stands for daemon. This route D, this is a Linux terminology, by the way. Route D daemon, it is responsible for all kind of routing, maintaining your routing table. There is a daemon who is responsible for who is logging into. If my name is Shakun and I'm trying to log in into firewall, but my login is not happening, it is saying incorrect username and password, there is a daemon dedicated for that who is giving you this error. That is called auth-d, authentication daemon. So basically, your management plane, let it be your management or your data plane, both are full of daemons. Total together, collectively, we do have 120 plus daemons working on your Palo Alto firewall. Some daemons are dedicated to management plane, some are dedicated to data plane. Their job is to write down whatever they are doing. Just write down. Blindly, they will be keep on writing. So these files are called log files. Okay, so if let's say after Palo Alto, many of you will be working on the troubleshooting part like we all do. So let's say your customer is saying, I'm not able to log in into my firewall. Although I'm using the right credentials, why it is happening, I don't know. So in this case, first of all, being a TAC engineer, TAC means Technical Assistant Center, maybe your first choice is you have to understand the problem, whatever the problem statement is, whatever the problem summary is, and then you have to break down your problem into sub problems. So the problem over here, login. Login means you have to identify which daemon is responsible for that. So daemon is auth-d. From auth-d, you have to fetch the file for auth-d.log. So this is a life of a tech engineer. Whenever you have a case, because after completing this course, you will be going for either certification or you will be going to handle some higher level cases or beginner level cases, depending upon whatever your plan is. So idea will be you will be working, if you are working as a tech engineer, for sure you will be working, your life will be, half of the life will be reading those log files. And these log files are not very enjoyable task. These are very important files, but it is like very sometimes CLI based files, sometimes very long gig, in gigabits files. So that is the capacity of your logs. So every daemon's responsibility is to create a log file so that if in case of any error or in any problem, this log file can be fetched and your troubleshooting can be done in a positive way. So that is the main concept here. So the topics, the list of topics that we will be covering, I have already mentioned in my previous session also. If you want, you can just go to that video, just happened 1 or 2 days back, or I will also be sharing a file, whatever the topics we will be covering. Now, technically talking about your training part, there are 2 certifications on Palo Alto. One is called pcnsa. Another one is called your pcnse. Okay, so pcnsa, it is for your administration tasks, and your pcnse, it is for engineers. Palo Alto certified security engineer, network security engineer, and Palo Alto certified network security associate, something like this. So here, this is important for people if you are going for experienced stuff. For example, platinum support or any higher level assistance. If you want, you can go ahead like this. Or maybe you want to be promoted to TL, or maybe your manager, whatever. Otherwise, if you are new to Palo Alto, you please go with pcnsa. In fact, my all batches, I start with pcnsa. Only difference between these two here, they both are equally recognized. Even pcnsa qualified people can go for also platinum support. There is no problem at all. You can go for any certification. But only thing is the topics of the what we will be covering, pcnse can cover up to some extent panorama. Okay, so there is uh, important topic called panorama. Panorama itself will take at least 2 to 3 months, I guess. In networkings, we do have separate course for that. pcnsa, this is not covered. Basically, this is without panorama, so it is a bit, comparatively pcnse, it is a bit easy and time saving also. So you will be working on like what is firewall, introduction to management plane, data plane. Then you have several other topics like why this Palo Alto firewall, it is called next generation firewall, right? Why, what do we mean by a normal legacy firewall, and what do we mean by next generation firewall? So these two are technically how they are different than each other. So I just give you one hint. Non next generation firewall means, for example, I want to block Google Maps for my LAN users, but I want they can search normal data, whatever they want, through Google. So this is not possible on your legacy firewall, right? Reason is your legacy normal firewall, which is not non-next generation firewall. It will say either I can block full Google or I can allow it. I cannot say half of the Google. That means Google base is working, but one of the Google application is not working. So your normal firewall would say, I cannot do it. What is the example of this kind of firewalls? So the firewalls which are, for example, ASAs and all, Cisco's ASA firewall I'm talking about here. So these firewalls cannot go for layer 7 DPI inspections. For example, DPI stands for deep packet inspection. So there is app shift that you have to detect. But every next generation firewall, let it be your Palo Alto, Checkpoint, Cisco FTD, anything, they all are working on the same concept. So this layer 7 inspection is possible here. So that means you can have your LAN users, they can search anything on Google, but the moment they will be clicking on Google Maps, their internet or the connection will be aborted. So this is possible. Another, this is called your app ID. This is one of the power of any next generation firewall, app ID. Second concept of next generation firewalls are user ID. Okay, so user ID means, for example, there is a company, there are 15,000 people, one of the IP of this machine, there was some malicious activity done. Now the problem will be there are 15,000 user. We don't know which user was sitting here, who was using that IP and all, because you can trace the traffic based upon their IP, their services, their network, time. But the problem is, out of these 15,000 users, how you will pick which user was? So this is the normal internet traffic that we can have. User ID will enable, you can now fetch the user details that time it was logged in into it. For example, when we log in into our PC to Microsoft Windows account, that user account will be linked to your IP address. So that is the power of your next generation firewall. It is called user ID concept. Number 3, it is called CTD. On Palo Alto, we call it content and threat detection engine. So these are 3 engines of your Palo Alto firewall: app ID, user ID, and CTD. CTD means it will work on your 0-day protection also. IDS, IPS, everything will be working. So this is one of the best threat detection. In case you don't know what is 0-day, it is like the virus or any kind of malware that has not been into the market till date. So this is first time of the virus that you are seeing. Because this is very new virus, you do not have any security signature for that. Security signature, it is a terminology that normally whatever the viruses, malwares, trojans, whatever you do have, so they have their name their special identification number, their hex codes, and what is the antivirus generated for them. Collection of them, it is called security signature. So we do have some third party vendors, they maintain these kind of security signatures. In case if you have threat and this threat detection engines, so you will be comparing them what kind of threat it is. If it is matching from the given database, it is a threat. But the problem is if this attack itself, it is a new attack, so obviously you will not have any entry into the security signatures. How you will proceed it? So you do have your AI engine for that. We call it wildfire. So it will be treated it. I mean, so the idea is like it is capable or enough capable of doing this 0-day attack detections, preventions, and all. So that is the reason Palo Alto Firewall, it is one of the powerful firewall in the market now. So not only in our corporates, now we do have projects actually, even our engineering students. So now this Palo Alto is entered into academia also. So it is like students are also getting trained on these firewalls before even they are finishing their graduations and all. So this Palo Alto is stepping into academia also. So that is the popularity of this Palo Alto firewall. So that is all about your idea. That's just a general thing. So we will be having labs, whatever the topics I have already told you, and there is a separate list. In case you want to have that list, please just in case to save the time only, I'm saying just there is a previous video just before this demo, day one. You go to that, there the list of all the topics that I have also shared. And in fact, I will be updating the team. So this is what the list of the topics that we will be doing, and all we have the labs available, whatever the topics I have mentioned in the previous class. So every class there will be, we do have labs available for them. So that is all about from my side. Let me know if you have any questions. There is a lot more thing. If you can ask me for next 7-8 hours, I will be continuously talking about Palo Alto. This is like how beautiful this firewall is. So, but yes, that is all about fun. In this one demo session, we can have all this.
Do we have a class for Panorama in this?
Panorama, it's a different course, as I already mentioned. So this is a different classes for them. This batch we will be targeting for pcnsa people, because this is a very deep stuff without Panorama. It is totally into troubleshooting parts.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other
Hi,
questions?
Signa ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is which class? I mean, demo class or?
This is like it is day 2 class of your Palo Alto, basically, because still people are inquiring and keep coming. So that is the reason I kept it like not too heavy technically. It was just a light class.
Okay. So yeah, this is second class. So I want first and first class recording.
I'm not too sure about this, how the system does work, but let me answer in this way. There is a one previous demo happened, I guess, 2 days back. You just go to that video. That is also almost a similar video. I did not talk too much, but there I have mentioned all the list of documents, not documents, topics that we will be covering here.
Can you discuss more about Strata and Cortex and Prism also?
Yeah. Again, in that video also, I just mentioned in the beginning.
Yeah, I went through that video, but
Yeah,
you didn't
so
go that deep.
yeah, okay. A very quick answer to this one is in Palo Alto, we basically have 3 division. One is called Strata. You will be the part of Strata, all of you. All the firewalls, let it be hardware, software, VM, anything. So we call them Strata. So Strata group is called your all the study of your firewalls. Prisma is, it is like the future. So maybe 5 years, 10 years next. So we will all be onto the Prisma. It is like a cloud stuff security going on, and it is not just a security, it's overall a magical stuff going on from Palo Alto. But here the requirement for Prisma engineers is you must have worked on Strata group at least for 6 months at least. So you should be very, very strong, having some good grips on Strata, then only you would understand Prisma and all, because there they are talking about CDLs, these data lakes and all. And these data lakes are having multiple type of authentications through different kind of profiles. If you don't understand profile on Strata, so that is the reason Prisma is out of the scene. So Prisma is another thing. Then we do have Cortex. There are three terminology. It is called EDR, MDR, and XDR. So you have some sort of malware detection that can happen on endpoint also, network perimetry also, and your the higher of extended device detections also. So these are called EDR, MDR, XDR. So this will be the part of your Cortex. Cortex, it is your all malware related stuff. How to analyze the malwares. So that is that team. If anyone wants to go again for Cortex, for your Prisma, these Starta is the entry point. If you are having Starta for 6 months, you have worked on that, then only you can enter into Cortex or Prisma, anything. Otherwise, you can continue through Starta also, no problem.
Prisma is just like a cloud-based firewall, or
Yeah.
it's something more.
It is cloud-based environment, but in a much more brilliant way that you can actually think it's just a cloud. It's a lot more than that. Yes. Because it is bringing too much management. Idea is when you talk about cloud, you never know what is really going on because cloud architecture itself is very complicated. So Prisma, it is like how to secure that architecture and how to manage that architecture. So that is the reason for Prisma, Starter is mandatory.
Okay.
So this class it will cover mostly pcnsa administrator side, right?
pcnsa, exactly.
Yeah. Is there a material to read it to understand the concept, just to go through over that?
Yes, I will be the materials will be keep on uploading on your schedule wise. Nothing to worry.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. All right, any other questions?
Yeah, ma'am. The difference in pcnsa and pcnsa is panorama. Is there anything else?
Panorama and no, it is just like Panorama is the extra stuff here. Otherwise, level of depth, whatever pcnse and pcnsa, they both are exactly, you have to have the same knowledge. Only Panorama is the own stuff that is different.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, sorry. So will you be teaching pcnse as well?
pcnse and?
Yeah, will you be teaching us?
pcnsa. I will be covering pcnsa.
Oh, then if I want to join the pcnse, right, I need to
Yes.
attend the weekend.
Yeah, if you want to go for pcnse, even starting will be same. Once you will be done with the course, I guess maybe I have no, idea, but I think after completing pcnsa, you can join Prisma. Then you will be completing pcnse in that way. Or maybe
okay.
Yeah, you can maybe talk to anyone from the team. They will be guiding you.
Okay, sure. So the next lesson you will start teaching on focus on the firewall or still on the basic stuff?
No, we will start from the fundamentals. It's not like too many classes, maybe one class, first 2 hours of any course, because we, being your, trainer, I want to know where you all are. It's like I should not find any gaps. It is just to knowing each other. We will be brushing up your fundamentals and then accordingly to going with the flow. Obviously, we will have to start your pcnsa fundamentals from Palo Alto side.
Oh, okay, understand. So, but will you start to talk or more on the features of the Palo Alto firewall, or instead of uh just the fundamental, how the traffic works, port number, all this? Will you start on the next lesson?
Yeah, it is like whenever, from the third class maybe, or whatever the
Day
classes.
3, yeah.
Yeah.
Day 3. Oh,
Day
okay,
3,
sure.
yeah, day 3, because this demo is basically for the weekdays people, so Monday to
Yeah,
Friday.
yeah,
So
because
we will be having only 1 hour, so we will be a bit, it is
Yeah.
like we will be covering all the topics, no problem.
Oh,
And myself, by profession, I'm also, I've been working as the tag positions. So I would be covering so many cases indirectly. I
yeah.
can't give the real cases, but yes, I can give you the idea. These are the cases, how we receive the case, how we solve the case, how we troubleshoot, what
Yeah.
what are the log files, how to fetch them,
Oh,
what are the
that's
tools. Yeah.
because I feel
I have
that the first lesson and today's lesson is almost the same. So I
Yes,
was
yes,
thinking
because
you will start
today
the
is a
real
new
thing.
audience. Yeah, today is a new audience. So most of the people sometime they can get a clarity not from too technical stuff. So they sometimes they need a direction which way they have to go. So that is the reason I
Okay.
always keep my demos very light, never too technical.
Okay. Sure. Okay.
sorry, I have a teacher. I have one more question. So I just signed up, the 2-month course. So the first course will be running for the pcnsa for 4 weeks. After that, you will transition to the pcnca, right? For the rest of the 4 weeks.
It will be like pcnsa. It will go up to 1.5 months, and then that will be all from my side. If you will be covering panorama, maybe team, you have to collab with the team in the beginning whenever you will be getting registered for the course. So they will be picking up the panorama stuff. Or maybe if I will be having the panorama that time, so you can join my session or any other trainer if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So I hope it was okay. And the previous, yeah, Rahul, thank you, I guess. He has already mentioned the previous class, whatever